Good evening and welcome back to World Talks. I'm Stanisław Tasiemski. And tonight we turn to a historic moment for the Catholic Church. In a ceremony at St. Peter's Square, the Vatican has officially canonized its first saint from the millennial generation, Carlo Acutis, a gifted Italian teenager who combined deep faith with a passion for technology, has been elevated to sainthood, joining the ranks of figures such as Mother Teresa. Explore what this means for the Catholic Church and why his legacy resonates so strongly with younger generations. To do so, I have Father Stanisław Tasiemski, Vice President, Catholic Information Agency, joining me here right now. Good evening. Delighted to have you with us.
Thank you.
So, the first question is, of course, who was Carlo Acutis?
He was a teenager, as you said. He died at the age of 15 of leukemia, but he was just the only child of his parents, who were very wealthy people who worked hardly. And what is interesting for ourselves, for Poles, is that he learned something about God from his nanny, who was a Polish woman, Beata Sperczyńska, who worked, just a young girl, worked in Italy to gain some more money. And it seems that she was chosen, as she reveals, by Carlo Acutis, simply as a child. They get in contact. So it was not her who chose Carlo Acutis. It was his intuition. He learned him how to pray. He prayed in Polish, even not understanding, but he repeated the words with a big emotion. And then what was interesting also, that one of the first images of the Blessed Virgin Mary was Black Madonna of Częstochowa. So he was introduced into the faith by the Polish woman, but he himself introduced into the faith, into deeper questions. He had very interesting questions, acute questions sometimes. And so his mother, who was a businesswoman, we may say, she confessed that after her first communion, she was several times just in the church. She was Catholic, but not perhaps very active, fervent, zealous Catholic. So simply in order to answer his questions, his mother started to study theology. We may say, if it is one of the signs of a new millennium, it is that sometimes children are introducing their parents into the faith. It is, in certain way, case of Carlo Acutis.
But what are his accomplishments? I mean, what made him a saint? He was a very normal boy. He was not a brilliant student at school. But what was interesting, it was his use of digital word to announce the gospel. He prayed. He was a fervent in adoration of the Eucharist, but also he created some pages on the religion themes. So he tried to to announce the gospel to his fellows, to those whom he knew and those who were far away. Just a man who knew how to use this tool with this digital word nowadays. But in one of the cases of his beatification is naturally his fervent life, his life of faith, his relationship with God. He was devoted as well to the Blessed Virgin Mary. So first, normally, in every process for beatification, the life is very detailed, subject of a very detailed study. It is called positio, so it means that he lives not just a normal virtue, not a normal life, but he is heroic
in his profession of faith. It is one of the cases. So after the positio, the second thing was miracle. What we know, it was a woman from Venezuela who had a very dangerous accident. She was nearly dying, but she was cured, asking and praying through the intercession of Carlo Acutis.
So what is his impact on young people, and how important is this for the church?
Few months, I think at the end of July, there was a jubilee of Catholic influencers, people who work in the digital world. It is something new as well. Perhaps not many people notice this fact. Here's, we may say, an example of people who can communicate faith to contemporary men. Times changes. The language also needs to be changed. The faith, as very often Pope Francis repeated, needs to be inculturated in our culture, in our situation. So we hope through his intercession also the Church may announce the gospel to the young generation, which perhaps also will help the older generations to discover God, who is happiness for human life. It is an aim of human life.
I mean, there's a number, scores of televangelists online, right? You can find them on YouTube, of different faiths. But how does Catholic Church view that? These people?
That's really what is essential is the content. We know that it is very important to be prudent in announcing the gospel. I mean, for instance, to know what is the magisterium of the Church. If I want to teach others, I need also to know something about fundamental truths of the Catholic faith, not to create a certain turmoil in the human person. Sometimes we are looking for extraordinary events. People are consecrated on exorcists, on supernatural, so-called supernatural futures. We know that the Church is very prudent in recognizing such supernatural events and is very prudent in announcing the gospel. So it is really important not only to publish, to produce, but first of all to study and meditate.
Mm-hmm. And would you say that the Church sees, or perhaps is it difficult for the Church to get to younger people, to Gen Z people, millennials as well? Is that a challenge?
Surely it is a challenge. There are so many opportunities. We may say we are pressed by all informations which comes. Sometimes people cannot separate themselves from their iPhones, from their computers. We need also to live just real reality, not only virtual reality. And what we need is to speak person to person and not computer to computer. This encounter creates links, creates relationship. So we may say that there are some substitutes of relation, but what we really need is the encounter with God and another person.
And can we go back to Carlo and what he actually did through his, for being savvy when it comes to computers? What did he do that attracted more people to the Church?
Simply his creativity. We have different gifts. We are very different. We have different attitudes. So simply using the language of his generation made him also understood to his companions, to people of his age. So surely the language the understanding is very essential.
Of course. And what role did the terminal illness played?
This terminal illness was unexpected, and surely we never know when our life may end. It is natural that older people are thinking about the end of their life and meaning of their life. Sometimes we ask ourselves why such a young boy is passing away. We know it is sometimes people are living very essentially. They are able to leave a message to others. It is the case of Carlo Acutis. He gave a message that also in our times, a young boy, the young student, can really trust in God, to find God, in God the meaning for his life, the joy of speaking about God to his fellows, to other people of his age.
Let's go back to the process of becoming a saint. How long does it typically take, and what conditions do you need to meet in order to become one? Was it expedited in case of Carlo?
There is never normal process. It is every process is very different. You may say sometimes the church is recognizing a saint, a person who died many centuries ago, even. But what we want to find, there are evidences of holiness. So what it means, I said already about living an extraordinary, heroic life, virtues of love, hope, faith, but also sometimes there are martyrs. So the case just yesterday, on Saturday, they were beatified, so it's not the same as canonization. 2 martyrs. One of them was a Jesuit administrator, apostolic administrator of Estonia, who died from hands of Soviet soldiers in 1942. The other one was a Hungarian woman who defended the same herself in 1945, not to defending her chastity. Russian soldiers were very brutal and were intending to rape her. So it means, in case of chastity, we understand it is a defense of human dignity, but also the whole life which led into martyrdom. It was very specially inspired by Christian life. It was not, the martyrdom was an end of life of faith, a very deep faith. We also know that there are some people who are teachers of the faith through their example, extraordinary teachings for English-speaking world. An example is St. John Henry Newman.
What about John Paul II?
Yes, surely a pastor, but surely we know that last few popes are declared saint. This John XXIII, Paul VI, John Paul II, John Paul I is declared beato. It means is beatified. So.
And now Carlo Acutis joins their ranks.
Yes, he's just a saint of a new generation, a sign that holiness is always present in the church and in this world.
Father Stanisław Tasiemski, thank you so much for joining us. Much appreciated. And thank you for watching World Talks. Please stay tuned for more here on TVP World. News update coming up at the top of the hour.